Okay, I'm here. Finally. Been a busy day. So I got Ralph in one position and Ralphie in the other. And I got some arms. I got the arms done. And then let me fix the camera real quick. I have to flip the screen so I can see myself. Okay, so I got his sleeves made. I not only made his sleeves, I made his sleeves twice because I don't know if you can see this on camera, but there's a right side and a wrong side to this, and this is the wrong side, so I made them twice. But I'm ready to put the body and the arms together. So actually, I'm not quite ready. I got to make the little washers like I did before, and I'm gonna charge up the hot glue gun. I'm so prepared. Okay. All right. Here's a bang drop there. I think I'm gonna drill the holes first so I have something to hold on to. And this is what I'm drilling into. This is just a piece of that floor mat foam. I was using wood before, but I was getting sawdust everywhere, so this foam works just as well. Just you have to have a light touch. Okay. Otherwise, you go right into your workbench. Hi, Tilly. I just took Tilly out, so I'm not worried too much about her. Go to the bathroom. So I'm basically just making these little washers so that it doesn't poke through the foam as easily. Hopefully not at all. You could use buttons for this if you can find buttons that the shoelaces can actually go through the holes. But it's just as easy to do this. I've seen people use poker chips too, but I can never seem to get poker chips I can drill through. there was a sign shop right next to the shop that BJ and I had. And they had one of the casinos as one of their clients, and they made all the casino chips. And so they gave us a bunch of blanks. And I held on to them for years, and I'm like, oh, this will work great when I have to make these. I don't have to cut out these circles anymore. And then I held on to them for about 7 years before I actually tried it, and I could not drill through those things to save my life. Oh, I wonder. Oh, that's okay. Okay. All right. So I got those out of the way. I'm going to tie a knot here. I did this on the last one, but tie a knot here just to keep it in place. Do that on both of these. I think I need a little bit more foam in there. Or not foam, polyfoam. The bad stuff. I was up till the wee hours of the morning putting the foam in this thing, so I wouldn't have to put you guys through it. I'm using the little ones for these. Hi, George. How's it going? Okay, so I'm basically moving these just inside the edge of this, and very carefully put a little hot glue down. Try not to burn myself. There's very few things I use hot glue for anymore. This is one of them. One arm done. Thank you. Yeah, it was a long time, and I could have probably machine sewed a good chunk of it, but what can you do? There are many different ways people do this. This is just the way I do it. Okay, everybody needs to take a drink because I just burned myself. Okay. All right, done with the hot glue, which is great. Okay, so now I've got these two arms. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Okay, got these two arms. Let me make sure I have a right and a left. Okay, here's the two sleeves. And we're done. I need to put a little hole right here at the edge. A hole here too. Okay. Now's the point where if I had a crochet hook, I'm just going to feed these two little shoelaces up through that little hole. I shouldn't have turned it before I did that, but I was too excited to see what it looked like. All right, so now all I got to do there's one finished arm. I hear this turner's used for something in the kitchen too, but I sure don't know what it is. Okay. These arms are actually easier than the green ones were because there's a little bit of stretch to this fabric, which makes it a little easier. Oh, did I lose one of them? Rats. Let me try that again. This might be the longest part of this build. There's one. Where's the other one? There it is. Okay. Phew. All right, so there's his sleeves. Like I said, I could have machine sewn all this part on the inside, on the hand, because you never see it. But I also have to remember to put the seam allowance on there. All right, so now this is the front. You can tell because there's a seam back here, and there's a seam on both sides. And what I want to do is I'm going to poke a couple of holes right here. And on the other one, let me just check. Yeah, I did it just in front of the seam. And you could burn it. In fact, that's probably the way I should do it. But I don't want to do it because I end up burning the fabric, and I don't like that. Okay, and you could tie this off. In fact, that's what I did for many years, but recently I've been doing this thing that my friend Lori showed me with these backpack clips, where you just shove those on there. You don't have to tie a knot, which is great. So you just pull it down in there. Oh, I forgot. I gotta thread one of these washers I just made on here as well. Otherwise, it just works its way out through the foam, and then you're stuck. All right, so there goes that. Tighten it up. I've got one arm on there. Okay, I'll do the other one. And I look for that seam. Make sure I put it on the right way. Almost got it. Almost got it in there. So I made this body about 12 years ago. So it's good to finally finish something. Okay. Put the washer on. Make sure I grab the right ones of these strings. I used to only use one spurt string, but two seems to keep them in the right orientation better. So I'm basically just pulling it as tight as I can. Can always adjust it later. Okay. Grab his head. All right, so then basically all that's left on him is the hair and the tongue. So I guess I'll get on hair duty. My favorite. So Ralphie actually, he wears the outfit that Ralph had originally when I drew him in the 80s. The red and the blue. Oh, I still got to figure out what if I'm gonna do something for his little eyelids, his little eyebrows, but because he's the good version of Ralph here. So, okay. If you saw how tight that was, that's how I think the originals got stolen, was because I think whoever put it on his hand couldn't get it off. Thank you. So, do you build puppets, George? Oh, there's a button there, so I can't really stick it there. Let's see. I'm sure I'm going to a lot of trouble just to stand this thing up on a stand. Cool. What are you working on? Okay. All right. I have a bag of hair here. Started with. See how far I go with this stuff. Okay. I've got enough for the first couple at least. Oh, very cool. Hello to Peru. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I wish I had a show. So I think those aren't going to work for that. I think I used them without the feathers on the top here, I think. Oh, no, I did. Looks like I got just enough to do one side here. All right, well, here we go. Oh, let me see what you got. I thought that was a picture of your puppet. I'll check out your stuff later, though. Okay. So I'm going to sew a few of these pieces together. Because in making the first Ralph, I realized how much easier it would be if I just sewed these things together. And I've got to make, I don't even know how many I used on the first one. I lost count after a while. But I think I probably have to make about 30 of these sprigs at some point. Maybe today. But I think I'll probably be putting the hair on for the next couple of days. I may have to turn this fan off, though. It's kind of blowing these feathers everywhere. I probably want to get as many in the front as I can made out of this original red, because I did find some red that's very close. It's a little bit shorter. I ran out. I mean, I bought this fabric back in, probably 2005. So I've had it for a while. And so matching it, I was a little concerned about. Okay. This camera maybe. The nice thing about this fabric is you'll never see any of these stitches. The bad thing about it is I hate working with fur. Sorry. Hey, Laura, how's it going? Well, I'm getting to the very end of this puppet, which is great. Probably only about 2 or 3 more days worth of putting hair on him and a tongue. Here, I'll change the camera angle in just 1 second. It's a little tight in here sometimes. Yeah, this is Ralphie. I'll show you just a second when I can tie this up. I think, oh boy, I left kind of a bald spot there in the front. Wouldn't know anything about how that works. I may have to take this off and move it down a little bit. Let's see. Yep, I'm gonna have to take this off. Okay, before I do that, so there's Ralphie, and there's Ralph. So I gotta take off this hair real quick. See, I make mistakes sometimes. Remember what I was saying? How you'll never be able to see these stitches? Turns out I can't see them either. I probably have better luck if I use a seam ripper, but it's fine. Okay. I just want to figure out what I'm doing here. So that's what I need to do. I need to sew it down here. And then go back and tie all this in. It's this hard thing I keep hitting. Oh. I'm hitting the antenna. What kind of fabric do you use for the interior arm sleeve? I actually use on this. It was denim. It was denim, just because that's what I had. But usually I use this. I use this tablecloth I found, or bed sheet. Like I like something that doesn't have any stretch to it and can still breathe. I lost my needle. There it is. Really, I just like something that doesn't have any stretch and is also allows air to circulate a little bit. And then I use jersey mesh for the neck part of it. So, Guy, this would be a lot easier if I didn't have these eyes on yet. So now I know. You know what? I kind of feel like I need to make a little slit and feed these on. So that's what I'm going to do. Cotton? Yeah, like a cotton. I do have a curved needle, but all I ever do with a curved needle is stick myself. See, if I hadn't put those knobs on there. Boy, this is turning into a great tutorial. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get him around that. Yeah, I may have to break out the curved needle so you can see me get stuck. Okay, curved needle. Once I get past this, I think I'll be okay, but this is kind of the hard part. As with all things, puppets, the hardest part is getting started. I found some finger silicone tips like people use to protect themselves from hot glue guns, but they're great for being able to grab the curved needle with more control. Oh, that's a good idea. I do not have anything like that. Ah, I know there's all kinds of fancy ways to do that, but I do not know how to do it. What do you do? Like kind of cross it and then wet your fingers and kind of twist it? No, one way to do it. Okay. Here goes nothing. I had such a good start. This is why I should only do things I know how to do online. I'm going to tie that off again. Eventually, this thread's only going to be about 2 inches long. Okay. Here's his little bangs. Where did I put the slits? Wait, that's not the bang. That's not the bang. That's not the bang. On the ground. What did I do with it? No, here it is. Okay. Yeah, I should probably do that. Sorry, I'm not showing you too much because I don't know what I'm doing. So far, so good. See, Ralph had eyelids that covered up all this, so that helped make this transition a little easier. So far, so good. I think I should probably just farm out all this work to Laura. Luckily, the stitch direction and all that's not going to bother me because and these really saggy or really really sloppy seams and everything. As long as I cover up all the bald spots, I should be okay. I also want to make his hair a little bit neater than Ralph's, because they are basically the same puppet. But when they go on the road doing The Odd Couple, I want to be able people to know which one's Felix and which one's Oscar. You know what would be great on him? A completely bald head with two little sprigs of hair on it. It's a choice. Actually, it was a good call, Laura, for me to use a curved needle. See, with just this little bit of hair, he reminds me of the character that Sideshow Bob's brother, that was played by David Hyde Pierce. Not Nigel, was that right? It was. You're going to hear the same jokes that I said during Ralph, because it is pretty much the same process. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to do the worried eyes, or if I'm going to do the worried eyes. I do kind of like that tick that I put on his eyeball, though. All right. Only 95 more to go. Okay. I cannot tell you. Oops, what did I just hit? I cannot tell you how long it's been since I had two of these puppets. Like I had a Ralphie that I built in 2001. Have no idea what happened to that puppet. It seems to me his head got crushed in a box, and I couldn't get it back out again. So I think I just threw out the puppet. But yeah, I don't know what I did with it after that. Or I know that I never built another one. So okay, here we go again. And then I'll just be making tufts. I'll probably just make tufts for the rest of the live stream tonight, and then into the wee hours of the morning. So that way, all I have to do is sew them on. I should have some new double stick tape coming, so I can put his tongue in. Should come tomorrow. Stuff I'm using now is garbage. Sorry, I know this is great video for you guys. Let me adjust the camera. Just 1 second. Ah. It takes all my concentration to just do this. See, if you want fast sewing, you need to watch Laura's channel. Thank you. Oh, what does that say? Tip, to keep your thread from tangling, make sure you always put the end furthest from the spool into the eye of the needle. And the part you cut, which is closer to the spool, is one you knot. Or you can use beeswax on the thread, which works for every time. Yeah, I need to get some beeswax. That's totally true. I double up the thread, so I don't know. I don't know if that tip you have about putting it towards the knot is going to work for me. I know that a lot of people only use the single thread, but I don't know. It's kind of the way I was taught. I'm an old dog. I was gonna say, boy, I should, now that I've got it, I know how to use this curved needle, I should redo Ralph's hair, but no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm done with Ralph. Done, I say. And I'm gonna, I might redo his sleeves, but other than that, I'm done with him. What was the good call? Not working on Ralph again. I hope that um, I hope that people will appreciate the the idea of just how the exact same pattern with a few changes can make a whole different character. And that's one of the reasons I decided I was going to do Ralphie as well as Ralph. Because in the comic, he's the clone of Ralph. And because Ralph was so negative, his clone turned out more positive than he was. And I always liked that dynamic. Building these puppets has been giving me some ideas for either bringing the strip back or maybe a puppet show with these guys. So who knows? I know that me bringing back the strip would make ones of people happy. Actually, when I start the comic up again, a good 200 or so people come back every time. And then it grows if I'm consistent. But the comic is a lot of commitment. It's probably 30 hours of work every day. I mean, every week. I mean, well, that's hair number 2. Yeah, see, I didn't really give the curved needle a chance. I bought this at the supermarket after seeing another puppeteer using one. So it's not the highest quality of puppet making materials. But I used it once and stuck myself so many times that I just never used it again. Surprised I still had it. Yeah, but I mean, what else am I doing? Got to make sure I lay this thing on the same way. There we go. When I was a kid drawing Ralph, I used to think of his hair as being his eyebrows. And so he didn't even have eyelids when he first started. I didn't want him to look too much like Garfield. So he just had these big bulging eyes and the red hair. And from the back, he was completely bald, like he looks now. And slowly but surely, his hair evolved, or his eyebrows evolved into his hair. He never had ears, though. I had a comic years ago. I don't know that I ever drew it. I always talked about it. It was a comic where Ralph was like looking in one of those like Tiger Beat magazines, and he goes, "Do you think I look like Luke Perry?" And one of the other characters says, "Luke Perry? Why in the world did you think you look like Luke Perry?" He's like, "Well, look at me. I mean, look at my eyebrow. I've got the same scar." And he says, and then the other character says, "You don't have eyebrows." He says, "Look at my, different things." Until it ended with, "Maybe if I got an earring." And then he's like, "You don't have ears." Anyway, I don't think I ever drew it. Let me make sure I have that in there right. I got to turn that fan off. Just a second. Or at least turn it in a different direction. Okay, that looks about right. Okay. I was going to adjust that camera. Well, with every puppet, I learned something else. And I say probably with this one, I learned how to use a curved needle. Just don't look too closely at my stitches. I got to be careful though, because I don't want to scratch these eyes up. Oh, that'd be a horrible thing. Get this thing all together and scratch up his eyes. Did I already do it? No, they're still okay. I should probably make like a like a cozy. On Elmo they have a thing for his eyes and I think his nose to keep him from getting all dinged up when he's not in use. I should do something like that with Ralph. What's funny is, and I never saw it until I started building this batch of the the Ralph puppet. He looks an awful lot like my grandfather, especially with the hair like this. Like my grandfather had like the Picard horseshoe hair, and he also had a nose that was shaped kind of the same way. Um, just something I noticed. And my other grandfather is the one that gave me the drafting table that I still use. His name was Mel, and when I talk about melon pool, I always think of him. Okay. Oh, it's not even sewn there. Should probably put at least one stitch. I'll go back and put a few extra stitches here and there to make these things live correctly once I get all of it on there. So I did with Ralph. Come on. Oh, broke just in time. There we go. Nice. Like I planned it. All right. So I'm all out of tufts now, but you start to see how they're starting to look similar, but not the same, which is what I wanted. That one, I think, needs to be pulled forward a little bit. That's a good idea. Putting a blindfold over his eyes. So the end of his antennas are plumber's epoxy. I wish I could get that too. It's a wire with a big glob of plumber's epoxy on it that I then is just shot with spray paint. Okay. Let me go get my feathers. What time is it getting to be? I got about another half an hour. My big bin of feathers. Here, I'm going to use you guys' eyes. Maybe, because I'm a little colorblind. So this is the original. This is what I've been using, this red fur. And I like it because it's really long. And then I bought this stuff. It has a little bit different texture. But does it look considerably different, or is it about the same? It's a little softer and it's a little shorter. But I think I can still make hair out of it. I'm going to try and put the old stuff at the front and just kind of transition into this other stuff. So there's that. And then I went to the Kyoto Brothers fire sale, or not fire sale, but moving sale. And I found this red, which actually is pretty close in texture to what I had before. And about the same length. Actually, does that look about the same red? So the eyes are made. It's those Christmas tree bulbs. The clear ornament bulb that come in two halves, like a clamshell, and you're supposed to put like glitter or paint or something on the inside, and then clamshell it together and hang it on your tree. I take those and then grind it off at like a 35-degree angle this way, so that you end up with the two pieces that butt up, and then I epoxy the two of them together to make the eyes. That's what the eyes are made from. Was that yes, that they look okay? A little different, but I think I'm going to use this stuff. And I blew $20 on something I didn't need to buy. Oh, well. I guess next week when these guys both get stolen, I can use it to build the next batch. I'm never gonna get this back in this bag. All right. This is all the red I have left from that half yard that I've been milking for 20 years. It's going that way. Okay, my pattern. Yeah, maybe. I can see the tufts like maybe it's like a gremlin where you get him wet and the tuft comes off and creates another one. I mean, he's cloned so many times in the comic, wouldn't be surprised. It's one of the ones I need. It's the other one I need. Yeah, so when it got stolen, oh, I didn't put the date on these. I thought I had the date of when it got stolen on here because I usually put the date on them. The fabric line or the pattern. Okay. For all you out there that want to build your own Ralph, there were the patterns. Sure, they'll be on Etsy by tomorrow. Okay. I need 2 of those. I know that. I think I'll make all the rest of them this size. Oh, and I have one already, so I can just make an odd number of these. That's not going to be quite the whole tip, but it's close enough. Okay, I got one up here. Nope. All right, I don't need that one. Okay. No, he won't. I did. He asked if he was going to have any red hair coming out of his nose. No, but I did toy with the idea of putting gray hair in Ralph, just to differentiate him a little bit. But I never put that in the comic, so why start now? There was old Ralphie that also ran around, who was okay. There was this timeline. There were many. I did many time travel stories, and in one of them, Ralphie, who's the clone of Ralph, went back to 1966 and got stranded in time. And then he aged up another, at that time, 30 years. And he ended up in his 60s. And so he was balding and had gray hair. And I think he had a mustache too. And then he met up with the cast. And then they were never able to figure out how to not have a time. They were trying how to get rid of him as a time, in this time paradox. And so he ended up marrying a duplicate of Roberta, who ended up in there. And then they went to the future and lived for about another 8 or 9 years in the future and had a kid who was named Gilligan Tiberius, named after Mayberry. It was this crazy story. I love these crazy storylines, though. But anyway, I always thought about making an old Ralphie, too, because that would be kind of a fun Easter egg. I mean, he could have a mustache. He looked like not Groucho Marx, more like what was that guy's name? Gene Shalit. There's one of them. Only 900 more to go. If the old Ralph had not been stolen, I probably would have cannibalized his hair to make the next Ralph. So I probably would still be needing to build a Ralph from scratch at some point, or still have run out of red fur. I was kind of shocked that so many people, puppeteers who didn't know who this character was, were saying what a good design it was. Because, I mean as far as puppets go, there's a lot of people who just basically rebuild the Muppets, and I think maybe he has a little bit different. I mean, while he does, I do get accused of him looking like Beaker. I don't think he looks like Beaker, but I was kind of shocked that so many people were like, "Oh, that's a great design." Because he wasn't designed to be a puppet, he was designed to be a cartoon character. This knife is just about spent. Okay. All right. So I got 3 of the mediums and 2 of the small. And that's all I could get out of that fur. So the smalls don't need feathers, but the rest of these do. I mean, I guess you could have like a little wisp of hair coming out of it. Looks terrible. Never mind. There's your screen capture you can use. I'm never going to do that again. Hardly seems worth it, does it? There's that little sprig. I think it looks good. I'm starving. Here's another one. I didn't. You know, if I didn't tie those up, I could actually make them a little fuller. They do stick up better that way. Okay, I'm just looking at. Well, guys, actually, I think I'm going to head out a little sooner than I anticipated. I am starving. But thanks for being involved in this rebuilding. We're getting to the end of the second of these Ralphs. He's actually kind of looking like something now, which is great. I should call Robert, who used to puppeteer Ralphie when he did have a puppet, and see if he wants to come out of retirement. What, 30 years later, 25 years later, now that he finally has a puppet again. All right. Oops. Put his head on backwards. second. I was just going to put his head on. This is becoming more and more complicated. There we go. All right. So I think that they look different enough. It's all in the eyes. Anyway, more of this fun tomorrow. Maybe I'll finish them up tomorrow, which would be great. And then I'm either going to go right in on Roberta and try and finish her, or I'm gonna redo Melonpool or fix Melonpool. Basically redo his antenna and add the sprigs to his 4 hairs. Because I have some yellow, I have some yellow feathers as well that I could add to each one of those sprigs, and change out his sleeves to be more like Ralph's. So that would be that. Or I might start building Sammy, which is the hamster, which that's the only character I've not rebuilt from this besides Roberta, who's just a head. That's the only other one I have to build. So that would be the end of me actually having all the puppets again for the first time since 2014. All right. Well, guys, I'll see you guys next time. And I will talk to you later.